If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description. Most Metroidvanias stick to the classic blueprint. 2D side-scrollers with tight controls and tighter movement. And only a handful ever dare to dip their toes into the third dimension. But every so often, a developer decides to poke the formula, twist the controls, or flip the entire movement system on its head. And sure, some fans groan when studios start tweaking the framework, but I say, tweak away. Without experimentation, this genre would go stale fast, and the last thing Metroidvanias should ever be is boring. So today, I'm celebrating the games that throw the MV rulebook straight into the void and embrace the chaos of unconventional controls. Hey, I'm the Metroidvania Guru, and this is my top 10 experimental Metroidvanias.
Number 10.
Okay, this is a bit of a cop-out, and if you don't like this entry, you're not gonna like the next. But yeah, I just figured I'd pick the entirety of Metroidvanias that take place entirely underwater, except for Shinsekai Into the Depths. You're just a dude in a scuba suit who moves like a dude in a scuba suit. No, I'm talking about the underwater Metroidvanias that come with swimming controls that let you move in any direction, either with a biological creature, like Aquaria or Pronti, or with a submersible vessel, like in Depths of Sanity, Song of the Deep, or The Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human. Granted, I'm actually not a huge fan of any of these games, but you'd probably know that if you frequent my channel. Ever since Echo the Dolphin on the Sega Genesis, I've been traumatized by underwater games. Nevertheless, I can appreciate the brilliance of some of these titles despite my aversion toward them, and appreciate the devs' out-of-the-box thinking when it comes to movement in a Metroidvania.
Number 9.
Cop-out number 2. Unlike underwater Metroidvanias, I tend to enjoy MVs with overhead perspectives, even though they don't seem to be very popular and thus not very common. Unsighted's a game I bring up a lot, and the relatively newer Ulo put a smile on my face. But not every overhead MV is awesome, like Crypt Custodian or Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. Sometimes you find a real stinker like Scourge Hive, just stinking up the place with its terrible platforming. And that's the thing. Of all the games I've mentioned to this point, I wouldn't say that any of them have what I would say is exceptional platforming. And I'm pretty sure that's why people either stay away from MVs with overhead perspectives or just flat out don't accept them into the genre. I'm not saying the platforming is bad, just not memorable or the game's focus. Or it is bad, that's definitely a possibility.
Number 8.
Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet is what happens when a Metroidvania looks at the usual run, jump, attack setup and says, what if none of that? Instead of a hero with legs, you're piloting a tiny UFO through a world that feels like a shadow puppet nightmare. Movement isn't about platforming anymore, it's about momentum, rotation, and wrestling your ship through tight spaces while juggling a growing set of tools. It's intentionally floaty, occasionally clumsy, and completely alien because you are an alien. And that's what makes this experimental approach work. It's a Metroidvania built around navigating the environment itself, not mastering a moveset. It's weird, it's artsy, and it proves the genre can thrive even when you swap boots for a flying saucer.
Number 7.
Though this entry, The Night Witch, controls similarly to Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet, the latter is more like a mix of Metroidvania and physics simulator. The Night Witch is a full-blown shmup. But you're not just shooting in 8 directions and weaving through bullet hell patterns, you're also managing a randomized deck of spell cards. And look, I respect the experimentation. Mixing deck building with twin-stick shooting is bold. It just doesn't quite land when you're already dodging a screen full of neon death. But even when the difficulty spikes hard enough to bruise your thumbs, it's impossible not to admire how gorgeous this game is. The hand-drawn art is stunning, and this dystopian world is imaginative and surprisingly warm. Its ambition is a little bit messy, but it's definitely an MV I think everyone should at least check out.
Number 6.
Dandara Trials of Fear is one of the boldest control experiments the genre's ever seen. Forget running, jumping, or even gravity, you're flinging yourself across the world by snapping from surface to surface like a human sticky ball with a mission. It feels disorienting at first, almost like the game is daring you to unlearn every Metroidvania instinct you've built up. But once it clicks, the movement becomes this beautiful rhythm of angles, momentum, and precision. And the best part is how the world is built around this mechanic. Rooms twist, enemies pressure your landing spots, and exploration becomes a puzzle of geometry instead of platforming. And once you get used to the controls and get the lay of the land, you can blaze through this game at Mach speeds. It's challenging and stylish, and definitely something you should try if you've never picked it up.
Number 5.
Hero Square is what happens when a Metroidvania strips away everything except movement and parries. You're literally a sliding square, zipping around a world that has an overhead perspective, but I didn't lump this game with the overhead entry because this game commits another genre purist sin. It has zero platforming whatsoever. No jumps, no ledges, no fancy tech. Just pure momentum as you thread yourself between projectiles, skim past hazards, and poke your little square body into every suspicious corner you can find. And somehow, that's the magic. Exploration becomes this minimalist puzzle where secrets aren't hidden behind abilities, but behind satisfying the urge to wedge yourself into any spot that looks sus. Items unlock new paths, the world slowly unfolds, and the whole thing becomes a reminder that even the simplest shapes can carry the Metroidvania spirit if the movement and level design are clever enough.
Number 4.
Carrion flips the Metroidvania script so hard, it practically tears the pages out. Instead of playing the hero, you're a shapeless, screaming meat monster slithering through vents and dragging scientists to their doom. And the controls? You're basically moving in an overhead perspective on a 2D plane. And there's no platforming, no precision jumps. You're this amorphous mass of teeth and tentacles that moves by pure intent, whipping tendrils at walls and yanking yourself around like a horror movie Roomba. It's unsettling, and it completely redefines how you navigate a Metroidvania space. But that's what makes it brilliant. The world becomes your playground, your hunting ground, and your upgrade path all at once. Carrion proves you don't need a hero's journey when the monster's journey is this much fun.
Number 3.
Laika Aged Through Blood takes the traditional Metroidvania control scheme, straps it to a dirt bike, and then wipes out while going zero. Movement here isn't just traversal, it's the entire game's identity, hence why its marketing calls it a Motorvania. You're navigating a brutal wasteland by riding, flipping, and chaining momentum like a post-apocalyptic trials course. Combat becomes this stylish dance of shooting while mid-flip, reloading by landing tricks, and threading your bike through enemy fire with just enough grace to feel intentional. It's tough, sometimes very tough, but the controls are what makes the game fun and unique. A Metroidvania built around mastery of a vehicle instead of a moveset. And when it all comes together, Laika delivers a kind of kinetic storytelling and world building that hits way harder than you'd expect from a game where you spend most of your time landing on your head. Also, the soundtrack is straight fire. I'm just going to end this entry with a quick sample of my favorite track. Let me tell you, it was not easy to narrow it down to a single song. Enjoy.
Number 2.
Knock knock. Who's there? Yoku's Island Express! I don't know what to tell you. This game is pure joy. I can't not smile and have a good time while playing Yoku. And it sounds like a joke on paper. what if a Metroidvania, but you can't jump, and also, it's pinball. But it works because the game's so dang charming. Instead of precision platforming, you're bouncing, flipping, and ricocheting your little dung beetle mailman across an island that's basically one giant interconnected pinball table. It's as chaotic as it sounds, and it completely rewires how you think about traversal, with exploration being this joyful physics puzzle where momentum is your real movement tech. Add in the gorgeous art, the cozy vibes, and a world that feels alive in every corner, and you get one of the most delightful experiments the genre's ever seen. Yoku proves that charm and great art direction, along with some pinball wizardry, can make for a surprisingly fun Metroidvania.
Number 1.
You ever ask yourself, what if The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past were actually good? Concern yourself with that inquiry no more, because Minishoot Adventures exists. Obviously, that intro was a bit. Link to the Past is amazing, but I can't be the only one who thinks exchanging Link with an alien spaceship is an improvement, right? Anyway, Minishoot Adventures takes the Metroidvania structure we all know and love and fuses it with pure twin-stick shooter DNA, turning exploration into this smooth, momentum-driven glide across an open world. There's no platforming, just clean, responsive movement as you weave through enemy fire, blast open new routes, and collect upgrades that meaningfully expand where you can go. And the best part is how cohesive it all feels. The world is handcrafted for this style of movement, the combat is snappy, and the progression loop hits that perfect one more upgrade rhythm. Minishoot Adventures shows that sometimes the boldest experiments aren't the strangest ones. They're the ones that make you wonder why nobody tried it sooner. And that's why Minishoot Adventures is my number 1 experimental Metroidvania. If you enjoyed this little tour through the weirdest control experiments in the Metroidvania multiverse, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for future Metroidvania nonsense, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of the shenanigans. And make sure to let me know what you think in the comments. Do you not consider these games Metroidvanias because of their unorthodox controls? Is there an MV with non-traditional controls I missed? Sound off below. And until next time, later nerds.